Hey, folks, we're going to, this is Mr. Patriot. We're going to continue our conversation now with Robin Obanon. And we're falling in love with her already, aren't we? Okay, let's talk to Robin. Hey, Robin.
Hey, Mr. Patriot.
Welcome back.
It's all good. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Now, we got a chance to know you a little bit before, you're growing up, and I'm sure there's more we can talk about there.
Yeah.
But now we're into the military.
Yes.
Aspect and why you joined the military. I don't think you really said why you joined the military. Why did you join the military?
The reason why I joined...
So a lot of people run from the military. Only 1%, less than 1% of the U.S. population serves in the military at any given time, something like that?
Well, during my my tenure in the military, one of the jobs I did was a recruiter. So it's so interesting that there are really not that many people that qualify.
Especially for the Air Force.
Right. There's the academic qualification, but there's also the morals qualification.
What do you mean by that?
Well, one of the questions that we ask as recruiters is, have you ever been charged, arrested, cited, or held? And there's a whole other, other line that goes after that. And when we talk about morals, we talk about getting into things that are, drug use, criminal activity, even tickets, and we're not talking about just the occasional traffic ticket. We're talking like you got a warrant.
Do they also ask you for sexual violations if you have any of that kind of stuff going on?
All of that, any violation of the law.
Oh.
And when I was a recruiter,
now, do the other branches go that far, or is this specifically an Air Force thing?
I can only speak for the Air Force, but I kind of get that all of us have a certain level. Because you remember it used to be those, you hear those stories about, you're going to the prison, or you're going to prison, or you're going to the military.
Right.
But when the needs of the military began to kind of, to lessen.
You streamline?
Yeah, exactly. Then there's a difference. There's a difference. You can be a little bit more selective. But the Air Force had always been selective. It's very academic in nature because of the technology. And there's a degree plan attached to every job. So I'm starting to recruit for the Air Force again. We stopped. But every branch of the military has morals.
Gotcha.
Guidelines.
Okay. So why would you at 18 years old join the military, particularly the Air Force? Why didn't you go to the Marines or the Army or the Navy? Or the Navy?
First of all, I wasn't cool enough to be a Marine. Love the Marines. They're amazing, amazing group. You talk about a select group.
Yeah.
I was supposed to join the Navy, but the Air Force recruiter was sneaky and kind of swooped me up right.
He saw, and he wasn't going to let the Navy get that.
No, well, the Air Force was my first choice, but, he wasn't interested when I saw him at school. But when he saw me trying to join the Navy,
all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So his sneakiness was a blessing.
Okay, so why did you want to join the military?
Well, I had initially said that I saw the kind of man that my father was.
Yes.
That's why I joined.
Weren't you scared?
No, it didn't even occur to me to be. In my life, there have been things that I have been willing to do, and once I've decided to do those things, it's like I receive a confirmation that this is the right direction in which to move.
Okay.
And then fear is not a factor.
Okay, so speaking of that, moving in the right direction, you go to Iraq, you experience this the first time, these young people get killed, everything else going on over there.
Right.
You come home, and you go back again.
I did.
Why?
Because even in a war zone, your purpose can be revealed to you. There's no power in the world that's greater than a person that's discovering their purpose. When you find out where you fit in, when you find out what comes most naturally to you, the military or the opportunities that the military provided were natural for me.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All
so
right.
Why I joined is not the same as why I stayed.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I guess that's part of the mystery for civilians, that people who go into the military, particularly if they see combat together, they become like really closer than brother and sister,
like
closer than blood. Yeah. And, I mean, I've heard guys that come back from war, they're all busted up. They're thinking about the guys and girls back, and they want to get back there because they can. But so that is a real thing, that band of brothers and sisters.
Yeah,
that's a real thing.
That bond of family, it transcends bloodlines. I think that's possible for everyone, but war makes war is a great catalyst.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you how long did you stay in Iraq the second time?
Not Iraq.
I'm sorry, I keep saying Iraq. I keep saying my apologies.
No, because I'm older than the Iraq people.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm sorry.
But it was under the
First Gulf War of George W.H. Bush.
Yes.
Right.
And it was under the auspices of liberating the people of Kuwait.
Right.
And so what actually happened over there, I'm not sure if it is congruent with what was reported over here, but the individual experiences that we had were powerful. They really were. I mean, I've got friends. I still have friends to this day. And there's one thing that we can say that many people cannot. You know, we're close, we're thick as thieves, and we went to war together.
That's true too, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's true.
So
where'd you get that voice of yours, that singing voice? Where'd that come from? Did you sing in choir in church, or just?
I did. It was really funny. I was never really interested in singing in front of people. That just kind of happened. I was a drummer, and I wanted to stay behind my drums. And hey, if I want to class it up, it'll be the timpani and the glockenspiel. But as far as singing in front of people, I think what happened was the choir director needed an alto.
And there you fit the bill.
And there you go. There you go.
You know, I digress to something, and I didn't mean to go there because we're going to close up here. Veterans again.
Yes.
There's so much trouble with veterans now. A veteran told me the other day, he says, well, the veterans are crying the blues too much because it's not that bad. What is your take on the way veterans are being treated? I know here in Arizona, this whole Veterans Administration. I know in L.A. we're dealing with the Veterans Administration. In fact, Mr. Patriot, myself, and Bob Rosebrock, a veteran, U.S. Army veteran, been fighting to maintain the veterans' homeland in Brentwood, California, and the VA has been parceling it out to commercial interest, and no money, resources come back to the veterans. There's like 6,000 veterans who are homeless in L.A. and have been fighting to get this back, you know, get these guys to do their job. And so Bob Rosebrock started hanging flags on the fence there at the veterans' homeland. And so the police, the federal police, came out and they arrested, well, gave him a citation to come to court for doing that. It was wrong. And he asked me, Mr. Patriot, to do the same thing, so I did it. So both of us have been, you know, cited, and we went to court and got arraigned. And each one of us are facing $5,000 fine. $5,000 fine, 5 years probation, and or 6 months to a year in federal penitentiary for hanging a flag on federal property for just 3 hours, once a Sunday, once a week. And it's really political. So this is going to, in June 2nd, we're supposed to go to court, and Mr. Patriot's going to go to court. His old, you go into battle, and you should have seen Mr. Patriot when he went to get arraigned. Oh my
in the uniform.
gosh, he walked in there, walking in like this, and they all looking, and the veterans do like, yeah. And the kid out, and the judge calls him up and gets up there, and it was a scene. It was the point I'm trying to make. Veterans are really going through it.
Yeah.
What do you think about the veteran situation?
Is there a part 3?
Yes, we're gonna bring you back. We're gonna bring you back to discuss this more, because we really need to know from a veteran.
Right.
And because you said you got ill while you were there.
I did.
In
over there
in
the sandbox.
In the sandbox of
right.
the Gulf, first Gulf War.
Right.
So we want to know more of your feelings and your thoughts on that, and what you plan to do about that. But just give us a little snippet of your. Is it true that veterans are okay, or
no,
things are really bad, or just the officers are taken care of and the grunts are not? Well, what's the?
No, I think that the Department of Veterans Affairs is an equal opportunity offender.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not a division between officer and enlisted. There are multiple problems within the Veterans Administration. I myself have written hundreds of letters to my congressman and even my then senator, our current Commander-in-Chief, Barack Obama.
So I would be safe to say that you are also an activist for the veterans, U.S. military veterans.
I wouldn't label myself an activist, but I'm not going to sit idly by.
Well, there's being active.
Oh, well then, okay then.
Yeah, you're active. You're doing what a lot of veterans cannot do, because they're too messed up and stuff. And most people don't care, it seems like.
Yeah.
We the people don't care. This is why Mr. Patriot is out there trying to raising
awareness
in us the spirit of patriotism and awareness, and we can do this, you know, and so forth. But things are going to change.
I think so.
Thank you very much, Robin Obanon.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate you. Appreciate your service. And
You're welcome.
Look forward to working with you, my sister.
As do I.
Blessings to you.
Thank you.